is it about Thanos that makes him scary? Have you ever actually considered this? Like, Thanos is not a scary villain, and yet somehow he's convincing and antagonizing, and I'm rooting against him. And although he's not scary, he is threatening, and I actually consistently find myself mesmerized by his character and looking deeper into it. Why is this? But then there's Death from Puss in Boots, a children's movie, who is scary, and although animated, feels real and like he's gripping at my throat while I'm sitting in the movie theater, or popping out of the screen at me like I'm the main character as I feel a shiver go down the back of my spine. However, then there's Gollum, who is creepy and slimy, and yet I feel needs a hug and probably a shower too. But I feel almost sorry for him. While in contrast, I completely despise Sid, who, although his actions are egregious, they're not illegal or even morally wrong. I just don't like him that much. But I still like all of these villains. And this is where a dilemma actually begins. How is it that all of these villains, whether threatening or scary, real or imaginary, bully or sympathize with, iconic or not, create wonderworks of villains that when I walk out of the theater, I am left with a presence of satisfaction in the character, often hoping for more of the character that I haven't yet gotten? Why is it that I feel a sort of empathy and connection to them, while still at times they've essentially committed genocide or have done atrocious things or even represent things as egregious and sad as death itself? Why do I care for Gollum and somehow relate to Sid? Why is this? Well, you might say part of this is an innate part inside of you that's actually drawn and connected to some sort of, well, violence. Think about it. Have you ever been in a car and you're driving down the road and you see another car on the side of the road? Well, not that one, this one. There's an accident on the side of the road, and although hopefully you as well as I hope that everyone inside is okay, there's almost a drawing or a conspiracy for you to kind of like the fact that there is burning and chaos and destruction. Is there an innate part of you that finds something to admire about it, or for some, even desire about it? Like, at the core of our desire for Luke Skywalker to defeat the Empire, there is a reminder that if he does so, what is next? Is there another story for him, or does he just go into a field and pick dandelions for the rest of his life? And although we know the answer is 2.5 abominations of a movie, people have found ways to create an antagonist for the most powerful Jedi to ever be. Well, actually, maybe Batman already answered this. The Joker, or rather the writers of DC Comics, knew that Batman needed the Joker. He completes him.
But what we have is special.
If we are all humans that desire peace and a stable society, why is it that we create tales that almost derive these villains from within us? And when that villain is ultimately defeated, it makes our heroes human again. This might be the first time that you've ever actually considered that Thanos is not a scary villain, or that death is merely an imaginary concept to the hero of the tale to represent a true concept of death and anxiety in our own lives, but also one that fades away and is not even seen by anyone other than us and Puss in Boots himself. Question yourself on why you feel a sort of pity for a man who gorges on the flesh of his own and purposefully tries to elude good by allowing evil to reign for longer than it should have. Such a man would be shamed and probably even imprisoned in our current society, but you feel bad for him. as though he deserves your sympathy. And this is the balance that story writers have to face in a world of unending franchises and less inspiring, unique stories that have consistently less and less stakes. Why does it feel like we are running out of villains? Luke needs his Vader, Puss in Boots needs the fear of death, and the Avengers need their Thanos. But in a fleeting world of characters is also a world of money where they are concerned about profit margins. Then instead they reuse characters that we already have, which is okay, but often overcooked or even undercooked. Rarely is it ever perfect to a fan or you and I. And this is just it. The Lion King is an inspiring story of a young man that rises up to defeat his evil uncle who has made an evil reign and an imperfection in the entire world. But is a story about Simba's perfect reign even worth watching? Your so-called heroes only stand when the spotlight of a threat or villain is casting a shadow on their otherwise normal lives. Kingpin literally brings to life Spider-Man inside of Miles Morales, and the Avengers-level threat brings life to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, who his story is quite boring without. In fact, it shows it in the movie.
Shouldn't steal cars, it's bad. It's my car, dumbass!
Hey, shut that off!
I was just trying to...
My car!
But this is known. Our heroes are obviously made complete by their villains and insignificant by the lack thereof. But there is something deeper that hides within a villain that's almost pulling you in and intriguing you to an odd sort of admiration, enough that people rank their favorite villain, which is odd because of the atrocities most of those villains have committed, would never be looked up to on a normal person's day-to-day life. For example, you wouldn't rate your current favorite evil villains throughout all of history, but somehow when our villains are imagined and personified into movies or comic books or TV shows, you can almost look up to them and be drawn to them and make them worthy of praise. Why am I so drawn to these villains? Is it that I am secretly a villain, or that I have a deeper desire for violence inside of me? Or is it that I have society to blame, that eliminated every villain in history for us to fight against, so that we don't have any sort of thing to fight against now? Are warmongers responsible for economic booms in this world? Is evil needed to inspire good? Is humanity missing its literal Joker, a threat for us to stand against? Or is it simply just our need for entertainment that drowns us in movies for which we have made irresistibly intriguing villains? My name's Lincoln, I can't draw very well, and thank you for watching.